Maybe I should start by explaining or defining or describing what diversity is all about. Diversity is about differences. It's about multiple differences. So you can talk about age, and you can talk about gender differences, you can talk about ethnicity, you can talk about sexual orientation, you can talk about disability. You have all this gamut of differences that we refer to as diversity, especially when they get into the organization. So that's diversity. Now the question is, what value does diversity bring into the organization? Well, diversity brings multiple values as well. Basically, one of the values that diversity will bring into an organization is ability to think outside the box. So people come on to the group, for example, as team members. They come up with variety of experiences, variety of skills, variety of competencies, variety of values, and variety of experience and background as they grow up. So when you factor all these things into the team, basically what we're looking at, you have a lot of viewpoints that organizations can choose from, or a combination of viewpoints that organizations can choose from. So basically one of the values they will bring is, if you have different perspective, everybody has an opportunity to bring your perspective to the table, especially when decisions are being made, when innovation is at hand. So one of the greatest value that diversity can bring is, from these multiple perspectives, we can have creativity, problem solving, quality decision making. Those are great benefits that we get from diversity. Are there trade-offs in diversity? My personal opinion is that there should be no trade-off in diversity. If diversity is managed quite well, if you have a manager who is effective in managing diversity and can hone and harness the multiple skills and multiple viewpoints that we have, diversity shouldn't have any trade-off. However, a lot of managers, from my own experience, they don't know how to handle, they freak out with diversity, they don't know how to handle diversity. And therefore, you then have issues with conflict arising for the same reason why we have innovation and creativity, because people are bringing their viewpoints on the table. Now, you bring those kind of viewpoints, somebody doesn't agree with that viewpoint and the other person doesn't agree with that viewpoint. So you have a kind of commotion, and then that triggers conflict. In that case, those challenges we attach to diversity, like conflict, like negative emotions, they then become very visible and detrimental. How can we leverage diversity as leaders? That's a multi-million-dollar question. I guess those of us who are involved in diversity, that's the kind of thing we really want to understand. How can leaders be able to leverage the benefits of diversity and diminish the challenges associated with diversity? One of the things I would say in that regard is, if you're a leader and you want to manage diversity, there are a couple of things that you need to think about seriously. Number one, do you give people audience when they come to talk to you? Do you value them? Do they feel valued? Those are the kind of things that I would expect a leader to do. I would expect a leader to be inclusive, for example. And when we talk about inclusion, it's not just with the word of mouth, it's that you are seen as a leader demonstrating that. We also need some competencies that go with managing diversity to leverage the benefit. One of the key ones is conflict management, because we expect that there will be conflict in between the number of people or team members that are there. If a leader has good conflict management skills, your job is half solved. And basically, a lot of research says to us 20% of a manager's time is actually putting out fire every day. So if that was the case, it's important that you have conflict management skills. And maybe I should add emotions management skills as well. How can a leader, in a broader perspective, create a culture that is conducive to diversity? I would say one of the ways in which they can go is they need to be very transparent indeed. Transparency is very important. If you are not transparent, it's quick for the followers to see that. So you need to be very genuine in your idea of supporting them, in being a leader, and be there for them. So if you are supporting them, then they need to know genuinely that you are for them. So this is very important indeed. The other thing that I think would be very useful for a leader to contribute, to generate a broader culture for effective diversity management is to walk the talk. So we're talking about role modeling. So you do to others what you want them to do to you, if I can use that word. So basically we're talking about you want to walk the talk, as we say in Australia. You walk the talk. You do what you say. You are seen as demonstrating and being role modeling for these people, so then they can truly follow you. So I think authenticity, fairness, justice, those are big issues for diverse teams. They need to be seen, they need to see their leaders that they are just, they're fair, and that they can kind of trust them. That's what I would, suggest.